What's up, the squad? Back with another video. I seen the title was going down. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please. Y'all see it right here. This is Post, New York Post. Says Trump bashes Fox News host and demands one of them to be yanked off of air. Calling her a real loser. Most of y'all have seen this and know exactly who President Trump is talking about. This isn't the first time, and I'm sure, I know for a fact it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time, but we're going to get, more into this. See what's going down. But you have it right here. It says, Jesse Waters suggests that President Trump join the five and sit alongside Jessica Tarlov. Check it out.
Mr. President, the next time you do this on the five, can we have you on set? Because we really want you to sit next to Jessica. I think you'd be a good influence on her. Can you do that?
Well, I think I watch Jessica, and I'm not a fan. And she uses fake numbers. She'll give, well, he's only polling 42%. That's not right. Polling very high, actually. Polls are just like, I hate people that use fake polls, because polls are just like bad journalists. Bad journalists, they write fake stories. Well, fake polls do damage also. But that's the thing. I'm sure I'd like her. I'm sure she's a lovely person.
Yeah, she's a lovely person. She really misses the fact that she's not here. I get it.
Yeah.
We're working on her. Don't worry.
Now tell me, did she not want to do it, or did you kick her off the show?
No, we didn't kick her off. She had a previous schedule that she couldn't change. But let me ask you about Iran.
So you have Iran here, and you talk about this. Mind y'all, this was obviously before a lot of this happened. This is one of the reasons. There's many reasons. I'm not gonna lie. There's many reasons on why a lot of people have, and feel a certain type of way against Jessica Tarlov. But this in particular, this video that I'm about to show y'all, is definitely wild. Says Jessica Tarlov erupts in rage after Jesse Waters corrects her lies about President Trump's Iran strikes being doomed to fail. So this isn't the first time, and I'm sure this is not going to be the last time, that you have a left-leaning, a Democrat that is on, any type of media, and they continue to spread lies. Check out what Jessica said here, y'all.
If you think that going after a theocracy like this, made up of religious lunatics who you cut off the head and 100 more sprout out, is the same, it just makes you look stupid.
It's not the same.
Stop, and Jesse, get your hand
down. It's down. It's more challenging.
Fully down, mouth down,
you are
too.
Crazy.
I'm not.
This is like the State of the Union. They are crazy.
No.
That right there just goes to show you, if a person has to do that, this is honestly the first time that I've seen Jessica Tarlov act like this. If a person has to do that, and they sitting there and they screaming at the top of their lungs, live on the news, live anywhere really, and they screaming at the top of their lungs and acting like that and being real defensive, you know that you lying, and you know you're in the wrong for what you're doing and what you're saying, and you trying to talk over somebody.
One who's watching this, by the way, thinks I'm the crazy one. The timeline?
Are you sure about that?
Probably not. I get it. Just tweet at me. I see you. I hear you. Okay, so the timeline is completely incoherent here. We started at just a couple days, and we got to 4 to 5 weeks. This morning, Pete Hegseth says as long as we need to succeed, and it could be up to 8 weeks. We are burning through $1 billion a day. We are spending, what is it?
Now you care?
Listen, just hear.
About money?
This is it's so predictable.
Is that still more or less than the Somalians?
Listen. Hi.
And I was about to say, I ain't even gonna lie, they're trolling her, but at the same time, they just being real with her, and giving out facts.
We'll get to that conversation. We're using $4 million missiles to take out $20,000 drones. That is a problem. They talked about that in the briefing yesterday, and Jennifer Griffin also talked about it.
But that's what countries are doing. That's why drones are the future.
I understand they're the future, but
it's not just our issue. That's everybody's issue.
But it is our issue today, when you say that this is something that we can go in and we can be surgical and then we can get out. That's why everyone was actually okay in a bipartisan fashion with past things that President Trump has done, because they were actually surgical and short, like Operation Midnight Hammer.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I disagree.
I would.
You don't have a problem with the results. You have always a problem about the process. That's all you have, because the results speak for themselves.
No, they don't. And you also
cut the head off. We left the body. That's like Venezuela.
I just said you left 100 new bodies in place.
And they pop up and they blow up. They better have health and dental, because no one's taking that job.
Pete Hegseth, going back to the press just wants to hurt President Trump when they're talking about dead service members. Look back at the coverage after Biden's disastrous evacuation of Afghanistan and the coverage of those dead service members. And I know that Pete was talking about that, and it is an important component because there will be boots on the ground and there will be more casualties. And all of these lives do matter.
Are you predicting boots on the ground?
Well, they're saying it's certainly an option. Jim Comer was on TV today saying it's likely.
You don't know if that's true or not.
So you have Jessica Tarlov obviously lying, saying this, saying that. Not even that. I didn't even know. I knew what she said, like partially what she said in this video, but I didn't know that she was gonna go off like that. I didn't know that she was screaming, at Jesse because of and if, like I said, if a person gets like that, and that's one thing I feel like I've always come across that. This is not something that I'm not surprised about, and I feel like I'm not surprised about it. Because, and again, this is just me being real, but I feel like I'm not surprised about it because every person that supports the left that I've talked to or I tried to talk to and tried to let know something, they get real defensive and they get real mean, start yelling and getting loud for no reason. And I'm a person that honestly just likes to talk and wants to know how people feel, honestly, I'm just being real, like how people actually feel about it, about what's going on and about this, about that. And if you see just how many, and y'all have probably seen how mean any type of it, whether you left leaning, whether you're on the left, how those individuals act and how they are. And I'm not saying everybody does completely, but everybody that I've come across, they tend to act like that. I'm not going to lie. They definitely tend to act like that, and it's definitely wild. I'm not going to lie. Says right here, President Trump called on Fox News to fire Jessica Tarlov, for the lies that she said. I'm not going to lie. It's definitely wild. Of how she's been and how she, like I said that last video, but it says literally called on Fox News to fire Jessica Tarlov, literally saying to take Jessica Tarlov off air, and she's a real loser, and people honestly cannot stand watching her. You literally have right here, it says tell Shannon of Fox News that it's not the Save Act, it's the Save America Act, a big difference. Also, when she insists on having a lightweight Democrat congressman, such as Jake, on her, the last name, on her not very hard-hitting show, she should correct them when they spew out Democrat propaganda and lies. She never does. Always closed deals, unlike the Dems, and did great with China in every way. Also, unlike the Dems. For executives only, take Jessica Tarlov off the air. She is, from her voice to her lies and everything else about her, one of the worst personalities on television, a real loser. People cannot stand watching her. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. Let me tell y'all something when it comes down to this. I truly have to, in a sense, I know y'all probably going to hate me for this, but I think I disagree with President Trump. And I know y'all probably sitting here at home and like Reckless. I know, I just know. Don't let today be the day. Don't let today be the day, Reckless. It's not even that. I feel like I disagree with Trump, President Trump, with this because of this right here. He says, okay. I agree now. He said one of the worst personalities. Okay, one of. And the reason I said that and why I said, because I feel like between, and I said that wrong, so I agree with him now. But I feel like if you really want to be honest, I feel like Whoopi and Sunny Hostin, Joy Behar, they right there with her. They're right there with her. I can put Anna up there. I can put a lot of people up there. But I definitely say between those three that I named, they definitely up there with her. I'm not gonna lie. I can name a lot. I definitely at one point in time, Jasmine Crockett is in that boat, but I don't hear much from Jasmine Crockett no more. I think it's been over for Jasmine Crockett. I'm not even gonna lie. Haven't heard much about her. Says President Trump reveals Iran is rapidly negotiating with the U.S. right now as Pakistan requests a 2-week extension on the power plant and the bridge deadline. Says funny because Iran bragged that they cut off U.S. negotiators not too long ago. Safe to say they know he's serious, and you already know President Trump is dead serious. I'm not gonna lie.
Negotiations with that deadline just 4 hours away. And he said, I really can't tell you how we're feeling right now because we're in the middle of heated negotiations. I said, so the conversation is happening then? He said, yes, of course. Why wouldn't they be talking, given the circumstances, basically? I asked him his view on this request from Pakistan's prime minister for a 2-week deadline. He said that he was about to be fully briefed on it in about 5 minutes and said, I can tell you this, that this man, the prime minister, I know him very well. He's a highly respected man all over. This is what the prime minister had asked in that post that you referenced earlier. Diplomatic efforts for a peaceful settlement of the ongoing war in the Middle East are progressing steadily, strongly, and powerfully with the potential to lead to substantive results in the near future. To allow diplomacy to run its course, I earnestly request President Trump to extend the deadline for 2 weeks. Pakistan, in all sincerity, requests the Iranian brothers to open the Strait of Hormuz for a corresponding period of time as a goodwill gesture. Now, as Caroline Leavitt said, the president has been made aware of this, and the White House will be sending its response. But of course, the deadline just a few hours away. We are also aware of a call he had with another outlet where he commented on what Iran has been doing in the interim, instructing civilians, women.
There y'all have it. And this was earlier today. Obviously earlier today. I am going to, before we end this video, we're going to do a, check up on some things. I'm telling y'all. Says right here, Jesse Waters, literally, this is obviously to the Democrats crying, about the war crimes because of President Trump's deadline. A lot of people have a lot to say when it comes down to it. We got a lot to talk about between this video and the next video. So stay tuned. I'm telling y'all. Check it out.
Trump plans to launch World War III during your show to lift America's spirits.
Is the deadline 8 o'clock? I didn't notice.
Yes.
The threat, I see it like, remember when Tyson said he wanted to eat Lennox Lewis's children?
Mm-hmm.
I saw it as trash talk. I didn't actually think Tyson was going to devour his children for dinner. Beer. So this is typical Trump, right? You set a deadline, you have an extreme threat, and hopefully you force the opponent to buckle. And that's what this is all about. I don't know if they're going to extend. I don't know if they're going to escalate. Nobody knows. But JD is right. It's really up to the Iranians. If they're going to wage economic warfare, we have the right to wage economic warfare. If they're going to attack the world economy, we can hit their economy. The Israelis have already hit the petrochemical camps, which they get $18 billion from, okay? And they use that to build missiles to fire at us. We've hit steel plants. Without steel, they can't rebuild the bridges that we're going to bomb. When did bombing a bridge turn into a war crime? When did that happen? Every single modern American president has bombed a bridge, almost. I think we've been sabotaging bridges since, I don't know, when bridges began to be built. When Zelensky knocked out the bridge into Crimea, the left called him a war hero. But when Trump threatens to do it, he's a war criminal? What?
It's crazy.
Zelensky's been bombing Russian power plants for 3 years. No one said anything. The Democrats are walking around with their little Ukrainian flag pins, shoveling more money at the guy. Listen, this is according to military doctrine. You go up the escalation ladder in order them to force open the strait. If it's not like one big power plant in that country, there's like 100 power plants. So a couple of them feed power to the military or the military-industrial complex, and you can take a few out. Some of the bridges, you isolate the missile cities, you cut off the capital from the rest of the country. This is standard operating procedure. They could escalate back, but this is what's done. And what's the alternative? You send in a ground assault unit? I don't think we're there yet.
One thing about this, and I'm not gonna lie, after seeing what's going on and seeing on how many people and what everybody has to say, I always look and see what people post. I look and see the comments on a lot of videos and seeing how people feel. I'm not gonna lie, but one thing about it is that it's a lot of respect when it comes down to President Trump and what he's doing. I feel like President Trump is a person, obviously, that a lot of people, respect. I feel like when it comes down to President Trump, a lot of people are not only leaving the Democratic Party, but also just, even if they're with the Democratic Party, they're paying attention to what he has to say and realizing, what's truly, in a sense, what truly matters. They're looking at the bigger picture when it comes down to it. And I feel like so many people aren't understanding a lot of what's going on and a lot of what's going down. I'm not going to lie. Right here it says Scott Jennings just said it perfectly. And I'm not going to lie. He did. Just based off what I'm saying to y'all right now. Check it out.
I'm hearing you question, sounds to me like you're questioning whether we're on the moral or righteous side of this conflict against these Iranian butchers.
How we do it is the question.
And
not just what we do, Scott.
I mean,
how we prosecute the wars that we're in is very important. And it's not just important.
Honestly,
it's not just important because of. Hold on, it's not just important because of what we do to them. Because I don't really care necessarily about what happens in the middle of conflict with the opponent. The question is also what's good for us, what's good for our troops, and if we commit war crimes and if we go after people in unsavory ways, we're going to set ourselves up and our troops up to be treated the same way.
Look, the bottom line of this conflict is this is a country that for 47 years has been run by religious fanatics that are desperate to bring about the end of the world with a nuclear weapon. Their principal mantras are death to America and death to Israel, and he is trying to prevent that. I'm not really having trouble seeing the right and the wrong here, or the moral versus the immoral. I believe in the righteousness of this mission. I think most Americans do, and I think it's pretty easy to tell the good guys from the bad guys here, but I'm hearing a lot of people in the air saying,
I guess the question is also,
I don't really know.
You just, as you mentioned, this is a...
And it's just honestly speaking facts when it comes down to it. I feel like, again, people aren't looking at the bigger picture when it comes down to this. Just like Scott Jennings says it's really easy for sane people to tell the good guys from the bad guys here, and it truly is. But you have what people fail to realize is that a lot of times you have so many people. When I say so many people, of the Democratic Party, whether you supporting, whether you in office, whether whatever. My thing is, the things that they tend to do is to not only lie, but they tend to try to scare people. They tend to try to scare people of what, Trump and the Trump administration is doing. And it's honestly not cool, and it's actually sickening of what they're doing. I'm not going to lie. One thing about it, though, says right here, Trump warns whole civilization civilization will, be unalived. It says never be brought back again. This is what President Trump said, YouTube, but it says, basically put a post out. Whole civilization will be unalived tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change, where different, smarter, less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionary, wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight. One of the most important moments in the long, complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and I have to watch my words, will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran. So one thing about it, though, about this, that I truly, I try so much, and that's one thing about me that I do, and I know I keep saying it, but one thing that I try to look at, and I pray honestly that it could be peace when it comes down. It's been a lot that's been going on. I know a lot of people have mixed emotions, or people are just, they understand, just like myself, about a lot. And I try to understand. Not only do I try to understand, is I try to, put things more so in a reality and try to trust, not only, the Trump administration and President Trump on decisions, but I also 100% trust, and pray to the Lord, honestly. And that's just me being 100 about a lot, that's going on. Because it's truly crazy on just how, you have individuals like Jessica Tarlov, other individuals that constantly lie. They constantly, obviously spread out false information and try to scare people. When a lot of this, we talking about what? 47 years. This stuff people need to realize of what's truly going on and what truly needs to happen. You know what I mean? Whether if it's, okay, this is going to happen to where, it's war, or this is going to happen to where we're going to have peace and y'all actually going to listen, to really calm and make everything cool at the end of the day.
Trump just got Iran to cry uncle. They've been calling him crazy for making threats, but guess the threats worked. The Strait's on its way to being opened, and Iran's promising to stop firing missiles and drones. The next 24 hours will be the test. If oil tankers start sailing through, we're on our way to officially ending this and hitting the president's 6-week time frame. If they play games, back to bridge and power plant day. The mullahs should know better. Their economy's in a depression. Heavy industry like steel, petrochemicals, and their military-industrial complex have been obliterated. People were already taking to the streets during the last economic crisis, and now it's 10 times worse. All morning, we were peppering their crown jewel, Karg Island. That's something Iran can't afford to lose. And our B-52s are already on their way to theater today, but Iran had no choice. The New York Times is also reporting China begged the Iranians to take the deal, saying their economy couldn't take it anymore. The regime was backed into a corner, and the president believed that sending in soldiers to open up the strait and seize Karg wouldn't be wise.
So I have it right here, again, and this is exactly why I feel like so many people respect and trust President Trump and what he's doing. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it's more so like with President Trump, and this is honestly how of doing, what's best, is that it's that trust the process. I feel like it's honestly like that, just trust the process. I'm telling y'all, it's trust the process. Before we get in this video, I definitely want to check out some stuff though. Says right here, should the 5 host Jessica Tarlov be fired from Fox News? I know a lot of y'all gonna say yes, which I also, think so from the things that she's been saying, the lies that she's been, going with. It's definitely wild. I'm not gonna lie. This video was actually posted 2 hours ago, and it literally says missiles are raining down less than 2 hours after the ceasefire agreement.
Is inbound, and it looks like those bright lights in the sky are the missiles, and it looks like you can see an interceptor that is in hot pursuit of the missiles. And it's always quite dramatic when you see those interceptors going after it. And these ones might disappear behind our building here, and we're going to lose sight of them. But they're still quite lethal and coming into Tel Aviv. And I didn't see an interception in this case. Should be able to hear it in a second or so. And it's still quite lethal when there's an interception. Most of what we see out here are those cluster bombs in recent days. But when you get a conventional warhead with that powerful explosive, obviously you hope that the interceptors can get it. And the interceptors are about 90% effective, but that means 10% get through. And those conventional warheads we've seen are quite powerful. They leave great craters in the ground. Still waiting to hear the impact on this one, which should come any second. But we saw... So there was quite big explosions, so that sounded like more of a conventional flash off in the distance there.
Oh, yeah,
So there was quite big explosions, so that sounded like more of a conventional warhead that got through. I can't really tell you if that was an impact or an interception because we lost sight of that one, Jesse.
Yeah, you could definitely hear that. Real quick, how long does it take for an Iranian missile to travel to Tel Aviv? What did you say?
I said about 10 minutes usually.
10 minutes?
By the time we, from when we, about 10 minutes from when we first get the alert till I'm hearing more impacts off in the distance from when we first get the alert to when the sirens start wailing.
All right, well, maybe the remnants of the Iranian regime either didn't get the memo or they did and they don't care. So we'll obviously keep a close eye on that.
Well, y'all see it right there. And one thing about it is that we truly don't know. I mean, being honest with y'all, from the time that I probably dropped this video, I guess we'll just have to see. I don't know. It's what? It's 1 in the morning. 1 in the morning, April 8th. We'll see. I don't know. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Definitely appreciate y'all. Much love to everybody. Catch y'all next one.